You guys do a good job. I love it.
Yeah, owners used to go into uncertified waters.
Raining.
So,
Yes.
you want to start with oysters?
Yes.
Okay.
Look at the size. These are all shells of the harvested one? We sell it or how do we do?
Just like Billion Oyster does, they have a shell collection program.
Yeah.
We have a smaller shell collection program. Actually,
Okay.
most of the clam shell that's come from in these few piles here is all from one restaurant.
One restaurant?
Yeah.
Okay.
They do a lot of clams.
Okay.
So,
So these are what?
nets.
Nets for?
Oh, we keep our brood stock in them.
Okay.
Yeah, so we collect shells. We did it this morning. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays we go and we collect the shells from the restaurant.
Okay.
All the shells that have been bagged up here, there used to be
Okay.
clam dredges that went for surf clams,
Uh-huh.
and they needed a place to dispose of the shells. So we used to take we had a giant pile of it, but we've bagged it up and we've made use of it for our
Okay.
reef structures.
So what are we making use of these shells then?
So
Which are the...
oysters, different than clams. Oysters need something hard to set onto, and this is the structure that they will set themselves onto and grow off of.
Okay.
So
So
do you
this will
see
be
here-
put as a oyster reefs inside?
So you see here, these are free swimming larvae,
Okay.
and then there'll come a time where
Just a moment.
there'll come a time in their life cycle where they'll develop this black spot here.
Okay.
When they develop this black spot, you know they're ready to set onto something.
Yeah.
So we provide them with the bagged shell. We put them in our tanks,
Okay.
and then they'll swim around. They'll find it, and then they'll set. So this
Yeah.
is 100 oysters will set onto one shell,
Right.
and then this is actually some oysters as they're fully grown here.
Okay.
This is probably maybe the end of the season. This is probably 6 months later or so. But you can see all the little ones all on the shells here. And it's nice. We get some community participation. We get some people down and they help
Okay.
us bag up the shell.
Okay. Yeah.
Spring.
These are nursery tanks?
Yes.
Okay.
So these are upweller style tanks.
Okay.
We have a pump that
Okay.
grabs water right out of our marina here,
Okay.
pumps it into these tanks here,
Uh-huh.
and we have these silo bins that sit, and each one of them is hooked up to this port. So the water is dumped into the trough tank.
Okay.
The water has to flow underneath the mesh over the shellfish that are growing in it, and then out. So it's just a continual cycle of water,
Water. Okay.
bringing them food 24/7.
Okay. So it's directly from here to
Yeah,
here?
directly
Okay.
from the bank.
Okay. So with the algae which you are growing, then what do you do with that?
So that algae is more specific for what we do in our hatchery.
Okay.
By the time they're in these tanks up here, they've matured to the point where they can just feed off of bay water.
Okay.
This is kind of new, this building. They built this, they had a building and they
Nina,
added
one picture, like as we are moving here.
So
Actually, I wanted you to be also in the picture. How to do
okay,
that?
it's
That's
okay, it's
becoming very difficult.
this side of the building,
Yeah.
this structure here, was
Yeah.
built in 2008. And
2000?
2008, and
Okay.
all it was going to be a nursery. So we
Okay.
had those 6 tanks,
Okay.
that style,
Okay.
set up in this building.
Okay.
The price of purchasing clams became too much.
Okay.
Our budget was set for a certain amount. The suppliers kept raising the price, so we were getting less and less shellfish every year. So through a grant, we were able to expand the building.
Grant from where we could get?
We
Grant?
got that grant from the state, from New York State.
New York State.
Yep. They gave us $400,000 to expand the building,
Okay.
and we were able to set up our own hatchery and not have to rely on
But
purchasing
the
from
reason
anybody.
why I think you guys are able to do it is they have so much in-house manpower,
Yeah.
so the labor they have, so the 400,000
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
a long
Right,
way.
we were able
whereas it
to
wouldn't really
build
go that far.
the decking and
What
all
are
the
these birds?
electrical.
These birds?
Those are brant. They're a type
Brant.
of goose.
Goose. Okay. So what they are feeding on?
Sometimes they'll feed on the macroalgae that's growing right here.
What they are feeding on?
Ulva.
Oh, ulva.
Yep.
This is algae.
Yep.
Algae are there. Ulva I could see. Yeah,
Yep.
lot of ulva is there.
Are-
What is the other one? Other
Yep.
other algae, that brown color algae? Red algae, I think there. Ulva is lot here. So they like to feed on this.
We have a ton of ulva in our bay.
Oh,
We have a ton of nitrogen in our bay.
Wow.
And ulva loves it.
good. Wow.
You're supposed to bring nice weather.
And this dredging which is happening, this is collected from inside and then this is put outside. Is it that way?
Yes. So they're using that crane right there, and they'll fill up the barge.
Okay.
They drive the barge over here.
Okay.
They'll use this machine to load it into payloaders. The
Okay.
payloaders put it into we have a containment area where it's going to dry out, and then they're going to use it for
Making the
the
roads.
backside of dunes. They're going to put all this sediment on the beach. They're going to use it for the backside of dunes.
Oh,
It's not going to go onto the beach. It's going to go into the dunes.
okay. But then I thought that they are also constructing the roads and all on that. They are not piling it. The way just now when we were walking, I could see that some of that is maybe while taking it, it is fallen. But
Yes.
then I thought that it is being used also for the road construction.
It's
No.
not being used for roads. It's
Okay,
just
okay.
falling out all over the place.
Okay. Okay. So Matt, you are in a very nice place and right place of working. I envy.
It's a good one.
It's absolutely a
I would
place
love
like
to come
everybody
here
wants to
and
live.
stay and work with you.
Yeah, it's a
Very nice place.
He's not kidding. He has a good job.
So this station was built when?
This was built in 2008. This side.
2008.
2008.
Oh, long time.
And the idea was to make everything more energy efficient. So because we were sitting out,
Nina. Yeah.
because we're sitting out over the water,
Matt, you can come here.
we
Yeah.
we didn't need
Yeah.
as big of pumps
Okay.
to drive water upland.
Okay.
We could use a much smaller pump, and then we utilize the clean energy. So we have wind turbine and some
So that wind
solar panels.
I saw it is only one wind turbine. Is it able to suffice our purpose with the solar and combined way?
So
Solar and wind?
when this was originally constructed, we had a battery backup system. So
Okay.
between the solar on the building and the wind, we'd always keep a charge on the batteries that we had here. And if we were to ever lose power,
Okay.
we could rely on that backup.
Can you put on a little light here?
Sure.
So Nina is a great help. So she's here with me. And
She came to our college room to present, and we just were talking, and she
this is put at such a place that I'm not able to capture the full picture.
Remove this.
Oh, we can remove. Wow. Oh, nice. Yeah.
the town supervisor is really supporting you guys now.
Very good. Yeah.
So these microscopes, tell me how you are using it, and it can take pictures also.
Yeah.
Yeah?
So
Camera you can fit it to it.
yep. The this tank here
Yeah.
is our conditioning tank. So
Okay.
oysters and clams, they need a period of time to put on their
Okay.
sperm and eggs.
Okay.
So
The insulation.
we feed them.
So what is this insulation? What is this made?
It's just to control the temperature the best we
Like a
can.
spray foam. Like.
Okay.
Yeah, we want to keep this temperature like probably 50 degrees.
Okay.
For a period of like 6 to 8 weeks, we'll feed the adults, and then we'll spawn them.
Which month you do this?
So we'll start clams in January.
January. Okay.
So the water temperature is in the high 30s, probably January.
Okay.
But we're trying to mimic springtime conditions.
Okay.
So we create an early spring for them in this conditioning tank here.
So that means you will begin this now. Now the stocks is now stopped. When do you start and when do you stop? And how much period is the lapse period that you leave?
So we'll actually start in probably like 3 weeks from now with starting to grow their food source.
Okay.
And then we'll bring once we have an ample supply of the food they're looking for, we'll bring the adults in, and so that'll be January. February will be spawning. March, there's a grow out period where they're in these floating trays here. April, we may move them into the tanks out there, and then there's a whole grow out period till November, and then we seed.
Okay. So that means December to January, this is then stop because then we are growing the food for this. Okay.
So you just put the clams out recently, right after
Yeah.
November?
So that means
First week in November.
that means I am unfortunate that in January if I will come, then I'll be able to see these all tanks
Sure.
all involved, right?
The end of January, we'll have a lot going on.
Okay.
Will you be
Very
here in
nice.
January?
No,
Ah.
I'll come next time.
Sure.
And we can talk and then we can plan it accordingly. Yeah, very nice. Yeah.
So, 50 degrees in this tank. They're
Okay.
held for a period of time, and then it's time to spawn. We trick them into thinking that it's now summertime when they would get a warm rush of water over them, and then they start spitting out their sperm and eggs. So we collect all the eggs. We use a little bit of the sperm to fertilize in a bucket, and then we move into the next room.
Matt, the adults you get right over there.
Yeah, so we've taken a variety of them from different parts of the bay. We have like a little flat right here where we keep them,
Okay.
and we can just retrieve them, bring them in. We usually have a bunch that are labeled male and female, so if they've spawned already in the past, you know what we have. You want a higher ratio of females so you have more eggs to fertilize.
Right. And while we do this, when we bring it, are we also doing the water sampling? Like we try to understand that the level of pollution or anything in the water. How are we doing it on a regular basis? Monitoring of water.
The town has a lab that we analyze water samples. We do a monthly sampling of water. And then we also do bacteriology too, where we send that out.
Okay.
So there's
So-
50 some odd years of data
Okay.
to base off of.
So in this period, like maybe for 5 years, let us assume that in this, did we find any time pollution level or the source from where it is coming and why is the pollution? Is any time anything such happened?
The biggest thing that we deal with is the nitrogen, and the source of that is we have wastewater treatment plant that empties out into Reynolds Channel. So
Right.
actually, after Sandy, the money was available to move that pipe. There's a pipe that goes out at Jones Beach, goes out
Okay.
into the ocean.
Okay.
So it was a matter of connecting to that pipe from Bay Park, which is down the channel here. They're going up along Sunrise Highway to Seaford, and then it's going to be discharged out into the ocean. So we're no longer going to have a wastewater treatment plant dumping into our bay here. So that will greatly reduce the amount of nitrogen.
But then this pipe is taken in the center of the ocean. That's what you are trying to say, that it's
Yeah,
taken
there's
by
a
inside,
much larger
offshore
pipe
kind
that,
of.
that runs a few miles offshore. So we'll no longer be dumping straight into our bay here. So it will be interesting to see how the water quality changes.
Right, that's what
right
my
after.
when I asked this question, my reason was that only because many a times, one thing is that they have a pipe which takes it to the offshore, but then many of the openings are on the sides. Even I have seen in the New York harbor, where on the sides the pipes are open and the discharge is there.
Yep.
Many times the study says that
We
it's.
have that for overflow because.
Oh, yeah,
because in New
that's
York
what I'm
City,
coming.
right, it's
That's what I'm coming
combined.
to the point.
Yeah.
That it is being said here. It's a CSO, combined sewage overflow, and that too that is during the wet season. But during the dry season also, River Keepers Group and many groups on the websites also I've seen that they have reported about the Enterococcus. Otherwise, we are working on the E. coli's to find out whether this is. But then when I saw Long Island Sounds and all the Hudson River Survey report, in that also I see throughout the year there is E. coli, plenty of E. coli. That itself is an indication that it's not just in the dry season, in the wet season, but in the dry also. So what is our experience about that?
For us, it just has to do with runoff and certain areas. The bacteriology that's done in studying our bay is related to shellfish and people consuming it.
Okay.
So anytime there's a huge rain event, they're going to go out and they're going to sample, and if the readings are too high, they'll shut down portions of the bay.
That is the most. I think I feel that is the part where I feel that why we are only doing during the wet season. Why not regularly on the dry season also? Then we will come to know that during dry season also what is the situation. Another my question is, what is the other kind of industries which are set up,
Sure.
which are there in the vicinity of this area? What are those industries? What kind of industries?
I mean, this is a very urban, populated, there's every kind of industry, that butts up onto our bay. So
Still, what are the kind? Because I just wanted to know whether it's a steel company,
We
whether
used
it's
to have a
pharmaceutical.
land- We used to have a land, like where they used to dump garbage,
Right,
that's
there
been
was a
shut
landfill,
and it's made
caps.
into a park now. But that for years was,
No, what are the other industries? What are the kind of industries which are set up? And what do you feel that how much percentage of industries are here? And you think that because of these industries also a lot of pollution is happening, pollution is there, and because of which in the years you must have found.
I couldn't name a specific industry.
No, I'm not talking about specific.
Yeah.
Like you tell me, yeah, pharmaceutical is there, or maybe paint making industry is there, something of that sort. I don't want specific name because that gives us an understanding that what are the kind of
Something that
industries.
I really don't know.
No, okay. But the industries are there.
I mean,
Yeah,
we live in
okay.
a very densely populated area.
Yeah, because I understand here there is so strict regulations that they are taking care of not dumping their polluted water in the.
I would hope that there's
There is
enough oversight of people
Yeah.
not dumping into our bay.
Yeah,
There are,
I understand. Yes.
we have there's a lot of outfalls that
Yeah.
all over the place that dump into our bay.
Right.
And it's letting the public know not to dump,
So-
oil into a catch basin that's going to
Yeah.
end up in.
So we are also doing some awareness programs for the public. How often?
Not as often as we should, probably.
Okay.
But what is the name of that program that they put the medallions on the tops of the catch basins?
last drain to the bay, right?
Right.
So we have, that's the problem, I think, because the last drains, like right next to, like even where I live, the one that's right next to the water, everything that's in the street there goes right into the bay. So, I see people dump their pools, and it goes right into the, things that we really shouldn't be doing, but nobody's really.
Which one? What you said? Repeat again.
It's the drain that goes, it's called the last drain to the bay, what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So the water, all the rainwater, everything.
It's a
takes
catch
everything-
basin,
yeah.
and there's a pipe that goes out
Straight
into
out
the
to
bay.
the water.
And they're
Straight
all,
into the water.
Oh.
they're all along the bay here.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
dog poop, fertilizer,
Right.
all of that goes with it,
And you have to let the public know.
You have to
not
care.
to be dumping it.
We have to even we have to stop using it like these things we have to reduce using like fertilizers and other things, and dumping means instead of dumping we have to think about the other kind of recycling where fertilizer making and all can happen instead of releasing it directly into the water. Yeah, coming back to this microscope again, for what all purpose are
So
we using?
when the clams spawn,
Yeah.
we're talking very microscopic larvae that we're looking at.
Yeah.
So I think the eggs when they're released, I think they're 20 microns in size. So
Okay.
it's a matter of fertilizing the eggs and then watching some cell division happen under the microscope. And once some cell division starts, then we can put them into the next style of tank that we use. So we utilize this to do some algae counts on the food that we're growing, and then also observe our larvae and make sure that they're healthy.
So, all these, whatever the studies we do, are we doing also research publication and articles on that? Because I see some of them
Not
here.
as much. This is
Because these are the pictures
This is
of this.
a book that we're using for
Okay.
our kelp grow out,
Okay.
which is
So
another
this is
project
a
that we're
reference
working
book
on.
which you are using?
Yep.
Okay. 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 So let's proceed. further.
Yeah, sure. So the next tanks here
Yeah.
are called conical tanks. This is for our larvae. So once we've hatched out our clams or oysters, we're growing these in a period, maybe 3 weeks or so, and we drain them down every other day, and then we sort them by size.
How do you drain it? How do you drain it out?
So there's a drain on the bottom,
Okay.
but we also, when they're really small, they need to be gently drained, so we actually siphon them out of the top.
Okay. And what are these marks for what it is?
We're
marked
just
with?
tracking temperature.
Oh.
Yeah, we want something in the high 70s, low 80s when they're growing.
So what is the food you supply here?
So the food that you saw growing in
Same?
that small thing, yeah.
Okay.
We eventually ramp up the production.
These are the tanks fitted for?
These
small
are,
quantity?
this is what we drain down onto. So
Okay.
these are actually mesh screens
Okay.
that catch all the larvae on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're numbered based upon the screen size.
Okay.
And then we have more
So
screens over
Yeah, I
there.
can see these mesh sizes which
Yep.
are put. Right,
And then we have more screens over there. And then
Okay.
we can send them through a series of sieves
right. Okay.
and then sort them by size.
Okay.
As we said before, our small algae production that we have going on in the lab up there, we eventually ramp up to this. So each one of these cages will get a plastic bag put in,
Okay.
and the plastic bag's filled with seawater. We aerate from the bottom, and we use these light fixtures.
Aerate from the bottom? How do you
Yes.
do that?
We have these lines that go from the ceiling down into the bag.
You are going to show us?
Yeah.
Wow. Good.
So
What a difference, right? When I bring my students, they're like in and out. She has so many great questions.
yes, no, it makes my life easier.
Yeah, because this is like
questions.
and that is what is learning, more and more learning. Probably when he will not be able to answer something, he will again find out more about it.
Correct.
So that's what it happens when the two like from the same subject when we come closer. So there is a lot of question which happens. Yeah.
We're constantly learning here.
Because why these questions, many a times like in what I'm seeing in the wastewater treatment plants, unnecessarily they are doing the aeration, where bacteria doesn't require an atmospheric oxygen. There they are giving it. Because bacteria will work with the oxidation process which they produce while the bioreactions happen. So that is where these questions are now, they are simple, but we have to. That why we require how much, because ultimately you have one turbine you said and the solar panels. So you have to manage with the energy. So that's why my question, that how much it is required and what we do for that.
Wind turbine that was here, you guys are
So the wind turbine behind the building, when we expanded the building, the platform that this sits on, due to new New York State regulations, they don't want any shading of the bottom, or they want to limit the amount of shading on the bottom. So we had to use this open grate, what we walked on, that green grating, and it went all the way around the building here. So when we were able to expand, we had to take the wind turbine off, and we haven't gotten it back up.
You could not do?
The plan is to get it back in service, yes.
Okay.
So we have pumps up in the attic that
Okay.
bring fresh air down.
Okay. Acha. With that you fix it, connect it. Okay. And this you will connect to? And they yeah, yeah.
glass fittings on
Yes,
the end.
yes.
We can poke a hole in the bag
Okay,
and then just kind of
okay. Yo,
stick it in.
okay. And this is with this you regulate.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, as much you want to increase or decrease that.
Yep.
Okay, good. Very nice. And is there any offshore turbines also there or no? This is only one turbine we could see in the coastal. They're coming up?
Yeah.
Because now more of, I have seen that even the solar panels also, floating solar panels are also coming nowadays on the water bodies.
Really?
Yeah, that I saw in, I think, Portuguese region. No, sorry.
Floating?
China. Portugal, I saw a lot of these kind of things are being explored, and they have reduced now their energy consumption by other means, and they are more focusing on wind turbine and solar panels. And that's how they are doing. Okay, so with these plastic bags, you put it inside,
Yeah, we
and
put it in, and
Yeah.
the idea is to fill the plastic bag, and then we inoculate one strain of algae into each bag.
Okay.
And it's just a homogeneous culture that'll bloom and continue to bloom for up to 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
So all it is a slow drip of pasteurized water going into each bag. When we actually set a line on
Okay.
the bag,
okay.
and there'll be a small port that drips into
Oh, okay.
this channel here.
So this
So
is
there'll be
hollow.
a
Okay.
slow drip of fresh water that has nutrients and CO2 in it,
Yeah.
and the bag will continue to bloom up. And as the drip is coming in, we set a line. There's a drip coming out
Okay.
of algae that
Oh.
we're feeding with.
Okay.
So it goes down
Yeah.
this channel here to a bucket.
Uh-huh.
That bucket has a float switch. So
Okay.
once that bucket is pretty well full, the float switch is activated. So there's a line that goes up, over, all the way to
To-
the other side.
Oh.
So those,
So how it is carried through this?
it's carried
Yeah.
through the attic.
This
This,
that line is how it is going, because I see this line. What is this up line?
This one
Uh-huh.
goes up,
Okay.
Through the attic.
Okay, that's going outside.
and then it
Okay.
goes through the
Yeah.
attic to the other side
Ah.
of the building.
Yes.
And we transport our food over to those tanks where we're feeding all our
Wow,
shellfish.
very nice. Yeah.
Yep. So it's a
Good arrangement.
semi
Circular
automatic,
system, automatic
yeah.
system.
Yep.
So you don't require many people also here. So automatically it's happening. Like when it fills, it goes.
Yep. So over the weekend, you can only have 1 or 2 people here, and
Yeah. So is there
Yeah.
is there any device, or is there any app which you people have developed, or maybe some monitoring mechanism which, suppose you are sitting there or you are at home and you are
Sure.
trying to monitor.
They, there are companies out there that have developed very high-tech ways of growing algae, and
No, I'm asking about you, not about the companies. If you need it and you are using anything
we're
of
not
that,
using
no.
anything like that.
Okay. So that means it's not required also.
It's
Because
not.
as much we can minimize our requirement, that would be good. In a natural and an automatic way, the way you have done it, it's enough to have a control over the
Yeah,
system.
and actually we were doing
Yeah.
what they call batch culture. We were using those fiberglass tanks that sit
Yeah.
over our trough tanks.
Yeah.
We were using those to grow algae, and we had a whole bunch of them, 25 of them or so.
Okay.
But it required a lot of maintenance
Yeah.
and a lot of, we would use, say, half of one of those tubes, and then you would be waiting on it to bloom up. We had a lot of crashes. The sterilization of those tubes each time was a pain in the neck. Every part of it
So it's a
very labor intensive.
but then
Whereas
is
this,
it
in that plastic bag, you're not getting any of those elements. You're not
Okay.
you're not dealing with any of that cleanup.
yes.
Regular plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is happening here?
So this is kelp. This is another macroalgae.
You are doing with kelps,
We're dealing
but we call it as a weed.
What's that?
The kelp, you said about the kelp, right?
Yes, this is kelp. This is
Okay.
it's called sugar kelp. It's a native species. We are the southernmost range. Kelp is a wintertime crop. It's become very popular for people who grow oysters and clams to have an additional source of revenue in their off season.
Oh.
So they may have the gear and they may have an area to grow it
They
in.
have it in Hampstead Harbor right now, they're growing.
So there's a whole bunch of municipalities that are involved in doing this. Kelp is great at we use.
But
for
kelp
demonstrations.
is the same one, if I'm not wrong. It's the big size algae and it's like a weed in the water bodies.
Yeah, so very good at taking nitrogen out of the water. So
Okay.
we're using it for bioextraction.
Okay. And this is what batteries
So,
you're using?
About
Hydroculture you're
These are chillers. We're keeping the water temperature low,
Okay.
keeping it at 50
Okay.
degrees. So somebody went to a spot in the Sound. They went diving. They retrieved some kelp. The kelp has what's called sorus tissue this time of year, and that's where you pull the spores from to then seed
Okay.
these lines.
Okay.
And then once these lines are seeded, we grow them out for a period of like 6 weeks or so, and then we deploy these lines onto longer lines that sit in our marina.
Okay. Can you show me some pictures of fully bloomed?
Sure.
Huh?
So
Yeah,
these-
that would be
so
helpful.
These, they start out as spores in
Yeah.
late October, early November, and then by May, each spore will now have grown into something that can be 6-7 feet long.
Yeah, that's what I said. We knew it as a weeds only. We didn't knew that it can provide a spawning place also for these oysters. That's what you said, right? Sports
say
and
that
all.
again.
No.
No,
Say that again.
What you said that the kelps are then used for? They are used for
It's
their
used for bioextraction.
Yeah.
So we're taking nitrogen out of the water
Water.
by harvesting
Yeah.
what we put in.
Yeah, but then in any way they are also helping in the oysters,
They're
baby
doing some-
sticking to it or.
They're doing some research about. We have a problem with pH too,
Oh.
and they're finding that the kelp will help provide some buffering for oysters. We're not involved in that
the
kind
pH
of
is too
research,
high in the water,
but
too high,
acidic.
too low.
Yeah.
It is becoming acidic, no? That's how they are losing the shell growing, like the shell which is
So
grow,
acidic means high pH, high pH.
low.
Low pH.
High means alkaline.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that tank.
So in this holding tank, this is we bring water in here. We're able to treat it.
Okay.
It's filtered on the other side of the building. By the time it gets here, we're using UV sterilizer.
Okay, UV sterilizer you are using. Okay.
Yep, and an ozonator.
Okay.
And it's just a cycle that happens outside.
Okay.
We're just cycling the water through there. We also have a chiller on this to make it easier on our
Okay.
other chillers.
Okay.
We're bringing in water that's 51 degrees.
Okay.
the
So
water-
from there water is coming?
Yep,
from
out
outside?
Out of that pipe, yep.
Okay, and from here the water is going from inside that pipe.
So down
Right?
low, you can see that there's a pipe coming out.
Where? Yeah.
Pump. The
Yeah,
pump,
yeah,
the
yeah.
pump is then driving water through the UV sterilizer.
Okay.
And then through an ozonator. And
Okay.
ozonator,
This is the water from the bay.
just the water from the bay, but it's actually, we have filter canisters.
Moisturize your stuff
This
then?
pasteurizer, we have it set nearly to 200 degrees, and you're really killing off anything else that's in the water that, bacteria and viruses that may be in the water. So that by the time it gets through this whole system, we're putting in, the cleanest
So that
water we can.
water after getting filtered from there it's coming to this?
Yeah, it gets pumped over to
Okay,
here.
okay.
It goes,
And from here then?
it goes through the pasteurizer.
Right.
And then it goes into a heat exchanger because it's coming out of here
Okay.
at 200, almost 200 degrees. There's a heat exchange that happens here to get
Okay.
the water around 70 degrees. and then it goes through these pipes here. So we're able to add nutrients, which are in this bucket. We
Okay, what is the kind of nutrients here? Okay. Yeah.
So these lights are actually these are LEDs, and these dye project.
From Governor's Shellfish Restoration Project. Okay, in 2018,
2018.
before COVID.
5 years ago.
Yes, just before.
Oh, good, good,
So
good.
we got operational in 2019, and then COVID kind of threw a wrench into us.
How much grant
Finding
was
our
how
way.
much grant was made available?
The grant funding was $400,000, I think.
$400,000.
And that was to expand the building, and then all the equipment that's in here.
So you got additional funding after that?
We haven't gotten additional funding for this building, no.
Does the town put money into this at all, like just regular?
Salaries and
Just salaries.
yeah, and,
So-
and regular supplies that we need that the town covers.
So this is like under the grant only. All salary and everything is under the grant only, right? Grant money, with the grant money.
All the equipment in here, yes.
No, the salaries
No,
are
even
from
the salaries or and all.
Salaries are not under
No,
the
that's from
grant,
the government.
no.
So from the government? So is this run by
The
government?
Town of Hampstead.
Okay.
So I'm a town of Hampstead employee.
Okay. So your position is like?
I'm a conservation biologist.
Okay, conservation biologist. And you are working as? As a-
Part-timer.
Are you in college right now?
Yes.
Yeah,
Still
studying.
in college.
Where are you?
Stony Brook.
Stony Brook.
Okay, so Stony Brook, you guys have a big draw from Stony Brook.
Yeah.
They have a marine biology, right, area?
So for the
Is that what you're
additional
doing?
fund, this is also built by the government
Pretty cool.
only.
They have out there.
Have you
Okay.
gone all the way out east to Southampton?
I have not.
So this is come up
This-
only in
that's the one.
It's a
2018.
newer.
This building
Okay.
was
I
built
see.
in
So I do most of your
2018.
classes up there.
Okay. Now will we be able to see the oysters in which are put in the water in the cage? Are there any stock
We don't have any stock on hand.
now? No. So when is the season when we are able to see that? Is it in November, October, November, or when are we able to?
For oysters?
Yeah, when you lay the cage down in the bay water directly.
That would be in the summertime. That
Summertime.
We would have oysters that are set onto shell that we would be deploying.
Okay. So here you will be able to show us anywhere where you have the reef region which has been created with these oysters.
Our reefs are
Very
out
much
in
inside?
various parts of the bay, and nothing is
Not on the
contained in this area.
periphery, no. It's very much in inside. So at a time, how much tons we are able to take it inside? Like one time harvesting when it happens, how much these shells which are taken?
So these are not harvested in any way. These are put into areas that are, this is for restoration purposes only. So we're only putting out for them to remain there. They'll never be harvested.
Yeah, how many
But-
clams of oysters do you put out, you think?
Oh, so this year we were able to do 1.75 million clams. And
1.7 million clams.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So they include oysters, clams, bivalves, everything, scallops.
we just do clams and oysters, and we do 2 million.
I think it was like
2 million.
2.5.
2.5 million.
Spat on shell
When
oysters.
you lay the reefs, does someone go in a wetsuit and actually how do you do that?
A lot of them are in tidal flats, so
Okay.
it's a matter of getting a boat out to the site, and then it's carrying it in totes. Where some of the sites
Did you
we can
tie
get
it
the
to the
boat
other
at high
ones?
tide. We can get over the flat, and we can open up those bags that we've set the oysters on, and we can just pour them out.
Oh.
And the shells which we saw there outside, you said they are coming from the hotels. The shells which we saw outside, it was there.
Yeah,
You
from
said
the restaurant.
they are coming from the restaurants, right? So they all come and dump it here, or we get
We
it?
go and we pick them up from the
You
restaurant.
pick up. Okay, okay. And in that case, they pay us something for picking up or anything, or it's just we have to do it.
It's actually a great situation. Those clams, the shells would go into a landfill otherwise. They would be putting them into their dumpsters. That is a critical resource to what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
So it makes a lot of sense for us to take that out of their dumpster and put it into our work.
Right, right. And so this is from how many hotels that it is brought here? Whatever the quantity we we saw there.
One restaurant.
Only one restaurant.
Westbury.
Oh, wow, that's a nice restaurant.
So that's a quite
Great,
good.
yeah. They're very good to us. Bobby is very enthusiastic about the work that we do, so it's
So do you
a
have
really...
like a full-time guy that goes over there or someone that
So
wants to
the
leave?
two of us went this morning. We go 3 times a week.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
To collect that?
To collect the show.
Oh.
The restaurant.
But if they are so much convinced that this is for a good purpose, even they have their own transportation vehicles and all, why don't they feel that we should dump it here? Why you have to go and collect it?
I think it's more beneficial to us to get that resource.
Okay. So is there a plan to rope in more hotels this way?
You know, we've had other restaurants get involved. For us, it's about the volume that a certain restaurant may do. If they give us more than we need, it becomes more of a hassle to go to 7 different locations when we have one sole source that's, you know, an incredible partner. It makes much more sense to do that.
Good, nice work. Very nice.
We had a few years back, we had maybe 10, 12 restaurants involved, and some of them would have, you know, half of a bucket or something like that.
Okay.
And we would go there, you know, once a week.
Not
and we'd
much
get
it is,
nothing.
yeah.
It's just, it wasn't worth the time and effort that we were putting into getting such a small amount.
Yeah. Very nice.
Really appreciate your time. You guys really took
Yes.
a lot of time to explain it to us.
So this one, why this is one line here?
Anytime.
We'll use it to prop up gutters or something.
Okay, very nice. So, Matt, what is this for? Can we go out from here somewhere?
Nehal, I have to go because I
Just 1 minute. Yeah, I was just trying to find out why is this kind of thing put like.
So as they're digging in the marina here,
Yeah.
we'll get a flush of incoming tide. They don't want too much of the silt being suspended and getting outside of the area that they're working in.
Okay. There are plenty, see? Goose. What is this species name, this bird you said just now? Brant. Okay, but like a goose this is.
Yeah, it's a small goose.
Okay. And they feed on oysters or you said only ulva?
They feed on the plants that grow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't see these by me. Like, I live in Belmore. I don't see these little ones. I see the big, I have the big goose
Yeah.
on my house.
See this, these all sediments which is set in the center of the water. So that's what I was thinking. See, so much of sediments is there. Yeah. Siltation, which we call it normally. So what do you feel the reasons of so much? Because everywhere I see a lot of that happening. Only because of the dumping, debris dumping and all that is happening, that it's raising.
You're talking about these marsh islands?
Yeah, marsh islands.
These marsh islands are degrading very quickly.
Okay.
They're disappearing because the water's going higher.
Okay.
They're not forming.
Okay.
The one by when you go into by the theater, the shape is changed
Yeah.
completely.
Really cut out.
Yeah, we noticed that this year.
Here when the people come for fishing,
Yeah.
so they go on their own and they are doing and whatever the amount they want to collect, they can do it. Is it that way?
Under the regulations.
Under the
that are
regulations.
set, yeah.
Because I heard that those who know to do fishing, they can go anytime and they can do the fishing. And they can take the catch home.
certain species, certain sizes. There's regulations for every fish out there. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Matt.
Okay, because I'm gonna send it, thank you. I really appreciate it. Nice
Not a
talking to you.
problem.
Okay. This is what you're doing?
This is our starter cultures.
Okay.
This is the food source for all
Okay.
of our shellfish.
Okay.
We have 6 different species that we're growing, and each one of them has importance in their life cycle.
Okay.
So the adults need a bigger cell size and more fat and more
Okay.
carbohydrates. And when we spawn, we have tiny larvae that their mouth can only fit
Okay.
a certain size food in their mouth.
And even I see they are of different types, I think.
Yes. all
Because some are
types.
green, some are yellow, so it's a different kind of algae.
Yep.
Yeah.
And some are
Okay.
diatoms,
Okay.
some are flagellates.
Okay. You can tell me all because I am also a marine biologist.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And did my PhD in.
You're gonna lose the engineer, but she'll understand.
Yeah, yeah. I have studied on the crude oil impact on the bivalves. Yeah.
So
My PhD work.
we get our starter cultures from a lab in Connecticut, Milford Lab.
Okay.
These cultures were actually started just like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So we go from small flasks to these bigger flasks here to eventually we grow out in these carboys. And then we have what's called a CCAP system, which is a continuous algae system, and it's these large bags
Okay.
that we grow up in the other building.
Okay. So is there any other place where you are growing this in a larger scale?
Up in our hatchery building.
So you're going to show us?
We'll show you in
Thank
a
you,
second.
sir.
Yeah. So each one of these flasks takes around 2 weeks to ramp up before
Okay.
we go to the next
Okay.
size.
Okay.
So then they'll spend roughly 2 weeks in those bigger flasks,
Okay.
2 weeks in the
Then that,
carboy, and
okay.
then we go up into the other building
Okay.
where we have the bags.
So why you need this? Yeah, are you supplying aeration also?
We supply aeration to when the cultures get bigger. Yeah.
Okay.
With these ones, it's just a daily kind of swirling around.
Yeah, yeah.
Make
That is for agitation. Agitators.
Yep,
You don't keep it on
agitate.
agitators? No.
No.
So simply with the help of hand or like that.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
okay.
just daily make sure that they
Good,
come
good.
up into suspension so they get
Right.
some light.
Right,
And
right.
that's it. And then
So
we
you
just
are
control the
giving them
temperature
UV
in
light
here.
or how are you doing?
No,
For sunlight?
these are just fluorescents.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just cool white fluorescents.
Yeah.
Up in the hatchery we have some LED fixtures that we use for supplement.